Hello and welcome to today's Sunday lecture. Today we're mainly going to be talking about the sacred toe pendants, the sacred sounds pendants. These are those special pendants that enliven the 8 primordial values: inception, reflection, education, success, love, abundance, health, and curse. First, I want to go over a couple of questions that we've been receiving at the office from you over the past couple of weeks. The first one is, exactly how do you enliven a seed using the Song of the Spheres and the toes, the traces of empty sounds for that particular seed? For this, let's use the example of yesterday's 2 seeds. The 2 seeds that Lantos introduced to the world yesterday. That would be seed 57 and seed 25. So the toes, the special traces of empty sounds, the sacred sounds for seed 57 are A, Ve, Va. So how do we enliven seed 57 using those toes, those sacred sounds? We always start, we have the Song of the Spheres in the left hand, we start by issuing the Realm Lord. So everything that I'm telling you is done silently inside your mind, inside your heart. You introduce all of the sounds silently within your mind, within your heart. But you begin with the Realm Lord. So that, of course, is Om. You pause for just a second. It doesn't even have to be a full second, but you have a definite pause after the Realm Lord. Om. Then you spin the song just once. You don't have to spin it 2 or 3 times. You just spin the song once. And then you introduce the toes, the special sacred sounds. A, Ve, Va. So again, that's going to be Om, A, Ve, Va. How slowly do you have to issue the sounds? That's entirely up to you. When Cindy issues the sounds to us worldwide, she gives plenty of time in between the sounds, and that's for a specific reason. The sounds and the gaps between the sounds are prescribed by Lantos to open the channel of light for that particular seed using those traces of empty sounds. So that's the reason that Cindy waits so much time in between each of the sounds. You could still do that. So that would be Om, A, Ve, Va. Or you could do it moderately faster. Om, A, Ve, Va. Or you could do it more rapidly. Om, A, Ve, Va. You still need there to be a little bit of a pause in between each of the sounds so that the sounds are 3 distinct sounds. So it would not be Ave Va, as trying to make it into one sound. It still has to be Ave Va for these 3 sounds for seed 57. So you could do it Om, Ave Va. Om, Ave Va. Om, Ave Va. So how many times do you have to do this? You do it 3 times. Now 3 times means that you will be introducing the Realm Lord and spinning the song and then issuing the 3 sounds 3 separate times. So that's Om, spin the song, A, Ve, Va. That's 1 time. Om, A, Ve, Va. That's the 2nd time. Om, A, Ve, Va. That's the 3rd time. Okay, so let's go ahead and enliven seed 57 and seed 25, yesterday's seeds, together so that you can see how this would work. Om, A, Ve, Va. Om, a, ve, va. Om, a, ve, va. Om, pa, sha, mo. Om, pa, sha, mo. Om, pa, sha, mo. So there I just enlivened seed 57 with the sacred sounds for that seed, and seed 25 with the sacred sounds for that seed. And I did it rapidly. I did it quickly, but still having a short gap in between each of the sounds and a longer gap between the realm lord and spinning the song. So that's how we use the song to enliven the toes, to enliven a specific seed of creation. Now, another question that we've had come into the office is, since we're learning all 81 seeds, the toes for all 81 seeds, why is it necessary to get instructed in your personal sacred sounds by one of the teachers? Couldn't we at the office just tell you your personal sacred sounds? And the answer is, well, in theory we could tell you that, except we're not allowed to by Lantos. Lantos gave Cindy a very specific instruction. Cindy had asked Lantos, considering that Tote, Master Teacher Tote, gave Cindy all of the toes for all 81 seeds, and then Tote gave Cindy the code for finding out which seed is going to belong to someone for their education or their success or their love or their abundance or their health or their curse. There's a specific code on all of those, a specific calculation that is made for each individual to determine those personal sacred sounds for those primordial values. Now, since Master Teacher Tote gave Cindy that information, she of course knew it. She shared it with me. She and I compared it. We did it for each other. We knew what our sounds were. We didn't need to get instructed. We already knew them. However, Cindy went ahead and asked for, in all cases, including for Cindy and me, when we already know our personal sounds, is it still important to receive the instruction? Or specifically, could Cindy and I just go ahead and enliven our own personal sacred sounds without getting the instruction? And Lantos said sacred sounds should be instructed by a teacher, presented using the blessed words. He went on to make it clear that I had to instruct Cindy in her personal sacred sounds. Cindy had to instruct me in my personal sacred sounds, even though we already knew what they were. So, for those of you who have called into the office asking if we can just give you the personal sacred sounds, this is the reason we cannot, because it is part of the actual instruction. Lantos said even down to the words and the gaps between the words. It is through the personal instruction by the teacher that this information, this channel opens up to the student to be able to enliven those sacred sounds, the personal toes of creation for that individual's primordial, the 8 primordial values from the Great Wave. So that's the reason. You need to have the instruction by a teacher. Okay, let's talk about the sacred toe pendants. Master Teacher Tote called it the sacred toe pendant. We also call it the sacred sounds pendants. The sacred sound pendants, there are 8 of them, one for each of those 8 primordial values. Lantos said a sacred sounds pendant directly enlivens one set of sacred toes, sounds, which enliven a single seed. So your inception pendant, your sacred inception pendant, will enliven your inception seed. Your sacred reflective pendant will enliven your reflective seed. Your sacred love pendant will enliven your love seed. Your sacred curse pendant will enliven the curse seed for you. And on for all 8 areas. Lantos explained Throughout the day, the pendant releases showers of energy, mists of illumination. It is for this reason that we wear it or carry it near to us throughout the day. So we get benefits from it all day long as we keep it near to us. Cindy asked Lantos if a pendant is useful even if it's not enlivened with the sounds. And Lantos said, the use is amplified many-fold through the sounds, through the toes, as instructed by the teacher. Let me say that again since I made a mistake. He said the use is amplified many-fold through the sounds, through the toes, as instructed by the teacher. On their own, they uplift that specific quality, releasing deposits of residue. There is still great value to the initialized tool of eternal light. So, yes, the pendants are still able to have a great benefit even if they are not activated with the personal sacred sounds for the individual. But if they are activated through the use of the personal sacred sounds for the individual, then their effectiveness is increased many-fold. So that brings the question, how do you activate one of your pendants? And I'm making sure to give this instruction to everyone right now because many of you have already begun to receive your pendants. Those of you who have placed orders, many of you will be receiving your pendants this week, and we want to make sure that you know how to activate them. So Cindy asked Lantos, how do we activate a pendant? And Lantos said, once initialized, the pendant is active. Introducing the sacred sounds in the presence of the pendants further enlivens, we may say activates, the pendants. So simply introducing the sacred sounds in the presence of the pendant is how you enliven or activate the pendant. Lantos explained further, the student may hold the pendant in the left hand or wear it around the neck as they perform the practice of the sacred sounds. During the day, the pendant is worn or carried near to the individual. So you simply hold it in your left hand and you enliven the personal sacred sounds relevant to that specific pendant. If you happen to have the song, hold the pendant in your left hand, hold the song in your left hand, enliven the toes, the sacred sounds, using the song and the sacred sounds, spinning the song the 3 times, just as we did at the beginning of this lecture. And the only difference is you are holding the pendant in your left hand along with the song. That would be very beneficial. Okay, so then Cindy asked, how often should one activate a pendant? And Lantos said each month the sounds should be introduced in the presence of the pendant. So even just once per month, these pendants are so sensitive and so powerful that even with receiving the sacred sounds only one time per month, they will still radiate that influence all day, all night, every single day for the whole month. That said, most of us are going to be activating, enlivening our pendants every single day, maybe multiple times every day, but it lets you know, especially relevant if you are giving one as a gift to someone and they don't know the personal sacred sounds and they don't know how to enliven it, and they probably wouldn't even if they did know it, so you're going to be the one doing it for them. This means you don't have to see them every single day to enliven their pendant for them. It means that you can do it even just once per month. So that's going to be a great benefit. Cindy asked if you could wear more than one pendant at a time, if you wanted to wear your love and abundance pendant, you wanted to wear your health and curse pendant, you wanted to wear your inception and success pendant, anything like that. And Lantos said, yes, you can do that. So you can wear more than one pendant at a time. You could wear all 8 of them if you wanted to. Can you place more than one pendant on a picture at the same time? Lantos said, yes. Now, this brings up that issue of giving someone a treatment at a distance, giving them the benefit of the sacred toe pendants at a distance, enlivening their personal sacred sounds. So Lantos gave 2 separate possible ways of doing this. One was to position a photo of the individual inside the flying seed device And then perform the technique of the desired seed using the song, the spheres, and then the personal sacred sounds. So that was one method. But then Cindy asked, what if someone doesn't have the flying seed device? Because we know many of you have it, but many of you do not have the flying seed. And Lanta said, position a pendant for the sacred sound on top of the photo. So let's say that you have a family member or a close friend who is going through depression. Perhaps they have an addiction. Perhaps they're having a lot of problems in their lives. And you think, this is a person who needs the benefit of the curse seed. Well, then you still have to receive the instruction, the personal instruction from a teacher for that individual, because that's how you're going to be able to enliven their personal sacred sounds for health and curse for them. Once you receive that, then you get the sacred curse pendant, and then you would enliven that sacred curse pendant using, if you have the Song of the Spheres, using the Song of the Spheres, hold the pendant in your left hand, hold the song in the left hand, enliven that individual's curse seed using the personal sacred sounds for that particular seed. And you only have to do that once a month, but you're probably going to do it much more frequently than that. And then you simply place the sacred curse pendant on the individual's photo, leave it there all day and all night. You may enliven the sounds every day and just leave the pendant there all day, all night, except for when you're enlivening the sounds. This is how you will use the pendants for someone else's benefit, simply placing them on their photo. And for many of us, we have family members, we have friends, and we can think of them and think, well, that person definitely needs the benefit of the Inception pendant. They definitely could use the benefit of the health pendant, the curse pendant, probably also the love pendant. They're having money problems, probably the abundance pendant. And then right there you've got 5 of the 8 pendants where you can think immediately off the top of your head, that person needs all of those benefits. So this is why the pendants are so phenomenally beneficial. They allow you to provide this benefit to other people simply through the benefit of the photograph, or you can give them the pendant themselves. If it's someone who's going to be receptive to receiving the personal instruction, then that person can enliven their own pendant. You don't have to do it for them. The pendants open the doors to fundamental transformation for everyone in your life, and certainly for you. This is why we're focused so much on the pendants and, of course, the sacred sounds throughout this holy season. Okay, everyone, thanks for joining me today. Have a great week. I'll speak with you on Wednesday.